Let's have the jury, please.
They need to wipe that smile off that little boy's face. Yes, we are live. Mandy says she thinks it's second degree or she thinks it's first degree based on the circumstances of him pulling her back into the house. Oh, well, let me finish reading this. So second degree is that the one that's 16 years, 7 months? No, yeah, 16.75 years in prison for second degree with a maximum of life with the possibility of parole. And then, of course, the lesser charge of manslaughter would be 9 years, 4 months. And, of course, all of that's going to depend upon this judge who we've just, you know? Bama's driving. Bama, you better pull over, girl. I think they ought to make him sit up so the cameras can see him while the verdict's being read. He thinks he's got away with it. I feel like Mr. Prosecutor knows he's been defeated on this one, but he's hoping the facts are going to get him out of it. I mean, the facts are alarming. Let's just face it. No, I'm not going to call the judge and ask him to wait for Bama. I need to call the defense attorney and ask her if she can tell the judge that we need to wait for Bama. I cracked myself up. Oh, look at Blanco. I think he's got his hands in his pocket because he's got the chain of handcuffs around his back. Isn't that why he's doing that? That's what I was thinking, Kim, because he always walks in with his hands in his handcuff or pockets like that. All right, here we go. Guilty. First degree.
Please be seated. If you are the foreperson, please raise your hand. For the record, juror number 1980896 has raised his or her hand. You may put your hand down. Juror number 1980896, if the jury has reached a verdict, please raise your hand. That juror has his or her hand raised. You may put your hand down. Please pass the verdict form to the bailiff. There are no defects nor omissions in the verdict. Counsel for the state, counsel for the defendant, rise and hearken to the verdict. Mr. Griffith, rise and hearken to the verdict.
State of Florida versus Colin Griffin. Will the jury find as follows? As to the defendant in this case, the defendant, as to count one, the defendant is not guilty. As to count two, the defendant is not guilty.
Oh my God.
So say will, this 5th day of February, 2025.
Does the state wish to have the jury polled? You may be seated.
Oh my God.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for the considerable time and attention you have given this case. I also want to advise you of some very special privileges you now enjoy having served on this jury. No juror can ever be required to discuss what has occurred in the jury room, with rare exception, and that would require a court order following a fully noticed hearing. For centuries, our society has relied upon juries to consider difficult cases. And during that time, we have agreed a jury's deliberations, discussions, and votes should remain their private affair as long as they wish it. Therefore, the law gives you a unique privilege not to have to speak about the jury's work. Although at this point you are at liberty to speak to anyone you would like to about this case, including your deliberations, you are equally free to refuse to do so. A request may come from those who are simply curious, perhaps from those who might seek to find fault with you, from the media, the attorneys, or elsewhere. It will be up to you individually to determine whether to preserve your privacy as a juror. On behalf of the entire 10th Circuit and all assembled here, I humbly thank you for your service. You are now discharged.
All rise, please.
You're absolutely right, Patty. All of these jurors are going to go back and hear all the full story, and they're going to be so mad. And then they're going to go on the media and talk about it, I bet.
Mr. Griffith, the jury having found you not guilty in each count, you are hereby adjudicated to be not guilty in each count and forever discharged for these offenses.
Oh, shit.
You will be adjourned.
Y'all, that is just injustice. What is wrong with our system? He doesn't even have to go anywhere. Look at the prosecutor. He doesn't have to go anywhere. He is free to roam Florida. Well, good thing I moved from Florida. If I lived in Florida, I'd be writing letters left and right like crazy. Pants, you want to come up? No pants, no pants prophet. You want to come up and chat? I'll put the link. I'll put. This is the link to come on. You don't have to have a picture on or anything. I don't ever have a picture on when I'm up here, so. Unbelievable. You didn't watch this case? Be glad you didn't, Gentai. Oh, my goodness. Girl, you'd be so mad right now. 3 times a charm? Yeah. You guys, I guarantee you, we're going to be watching something maybe 5-10 years down the road. And we're going to say, yeah, we watched the second trial. We saw it go down. We still have. Oh, okay. Yep, he's going to get their money. Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that, Blanco. Whatever money they had, whatever state or anything they had, he'll get it. And he's 18, so he's on his own. He doesn't have to go live with grandmama. He'll probably never hear from her, or she'll probably never hear from him again. He's going to, will you stop, Cuckleberry? My gosh, he's so loud. Okay, you called it dread. I'm not agreeing with it, though. I still don't like it. There's no pants for profits. All right. How are you, my friend?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right.
Let me
yeah,
introduce
please.
you really quick so everybody
Please.
knows who you are. Okay, you guys, No Pants Profits. He has a channel called No Pants Profits, and he does travel stuff on that. Let me take this stream off really quick. Hang on.
I'm just in shock, but you saw me, Kerry, in the chat predict this yesterday, didn't you?
Yeah, you and
I
Dread
was
were
the only one saying the kid was going to get off.
I know. I this is unbelievable. I'm so floored. I'm so angry. So you dated Kathy for how long?
Oh, we were on and off for a while. I met her almost 2.5 years ago. So almost 3 years ago, actually. I met her almost 3 years ago. And, we were on again, off again, just because of things and stuff, if that makes sense. We go on cruises and all that. And February, I still remember the day, February 14th, 2023, I think it was. Yeah, 2023. The last trip we took together was December of 2022. February 14th, 2023, she called me from the Atlanta airport. And she's like, you're not going to see me for a while. I can't give you any information. You're not going to see me for a while. And that's when she went back to Oklahoma to handle everything with Colin. And she spent, I'll be honest with you, she spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, probably along with grandma's money as well, defending him against his dad. took about 2 months. She was in Oklahoma on leave from work and everything like that in order to get the son out.
Yeah.
And you know, the real thing is, I hope Oklahoma reopens the case now. There's
Yeah.
evidence, but in the end of the day, I don't think they will. Again,
Oh,
I
I
don't
hope they will.
want to target on my back, so I don't want to say too much, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well,
You know,
you're not from Florida, are you?
I am. I'm not
Oh,
currently
okay.
in Florida. I'm not going to
Okay.
disclose my current location. It's not. I didn't even know this case was going on, but I'm
Well,
not
wait.
currently in Florida.
But Colin knows where you live, though, is what I'm trying to get to.
He does not.
Okay. Okay. That's good. That's good.
He does not, and I'll be honest with you. And I'm not saying this in any sketchy way, shape, or form. I'm almost never home.
Okay.
I'm
Well,
saying this just because of the nature of my channel.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But
You travel.
I mean, unfortunately, I guess the jury didn't figure out it was Daddy he killed.
Exactly.
That's what
It's
happened. The jury didn't figure out he killed Daddy, and I think what you were saying while I was connecting to StreamYard, I got cut off because I had to turn off the main YouTube stream that I had going on. The jury didn't figure it out, and hence the jury not figuring it out, they let him go. Look,
Can you believe that?
and I said it 4 days ago on my comments, and I'll say it again. This is a case of the kid acting like Jack Kevorkian. I'm going to be brutally honest with you. I listened to the whole trial. There was a point that they did not exaggerate on, and I will tell you this point right now because Kathy told me this, and I'm not under oath, and I can tell you. I mean, I'm telling you the truth, but you know, I don't have to restrict anything. She did have a gun. She gave the kid a gun once and said, "Go ahead, kill me," because
Yeah.
that's what the kid wanted to do.
Be
That's
careful
what.
with the be careful with. Oh, you're not used to being in true crime, so let me give you a few pointers on that. We can't say the K word, we can't say the M word, and we can't say any kind of
Okay, so that's
assault.
where unalive comes from. She actually used to use
Yeah.
that word too. Personally,
Yeah.
Kathy used to use the word unalive. She said, "Go ahead and unalive me," and the kid didn't do it. So I guarantee you, what actually went down is in the kitchen. The kid, she gave the kid a knife and said, "Do it." Now, Jack Kevorkian was charged with first-degree murder for doing assisted suicides. But realistically, what it was, I hate to agree with the defense. It was likely an assisted suicide. Now, that's not legal.
But even though she was upset the way she was threatening him. She was just so upset with him. It just seems like that's where her focus was. It wasn't on herself. It was more on him doing what he was supposed to be doing.
And it looks like the innocence in this case, I don't think Oklahoma's going to reopen.
I think somebody's gonna get them too. I think at this point I'm hoping that they communicate with Florida and the state of Florida, which I know they have been, with this case and everything. I'm hoping that somebody over there pushes it and gets it done. And it's a possibility there could be somebody that's really passionate about this and they're able to get it approved. It might take a bit.
So, Kerry, I cannot see the chat right now. I'll be honest
Okay.
with you because I'm literally on my phone and I opened the YouTube link over YouTube. So if there's any questions in the chat, I'll try and answer them. But if you let me know, I can't see it.
Okay, yeah, no problem.
I'm literally out in front of a barbecue place somewhere in the southern United States. I'll just keep my location that broad.
Okay, that's fine. Let me ask you a few things first. Let's get the times that you've spent with Colin and his mother.
Mhm.
Well, let's put it like this: how long before you met Colin when you were seeing Kathy?
It was so I think how long after Kathy got possession of Colin? It was about a month or so after I met them at Disney for the first time. Just because I live in the south part of Florida and she lives in the north part of Florida. So we both had Disney annual passes. She got her son a Disney annual pass and we all went to Disney together.
Yeah.
And then I would spend, so that was I mean, it's weird. Me and her were together for a while, and then the son died, and then she wasn't able to take vacation. The son, whatever happened in Oklahoma, and there was no chance for vacations after that for a very long time because you got a 17-year-old kid. You don't really want to go on vacations with a 17-year-old kid, and she couldn't leave him alone. It's where it strained our relationship, if that makes sense. Like, she wasn't allowed to go on a vacation with me somewhere because she still had to stay monitoring him in Port Charlotte.
Because of his probation.
Correct.
And was she excited about him being there, though?
Very much so. I'll be
Yeah.
honest with you. None of the screaming, none of the yelling. I never saw any of that. I heard about it via text message and stuff, but I'm being brutally honest with you. I never saw any of it.
Do you think Kathy was unhinged?
That is the point that I don't believe she was unhinged when me and her were together. I do know, look, she was taking antidepressants.
A lot of people do.
And she did try and commit suicide a few times. That's the truth. No one's lying about that, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
You know, that's the God's honest truth, is that she did try and commit suicide a few times. After she had repossession of Colin, we weren't nearly as close. And, you know, I would get messages of things, and I met with them a few times. I think the last time I saw them was, I happened to be going up through Sarasota, Florida, if you know the geography of Florida, or if people know the geography of Florida. And I had her and him meet me at a little beach bar, because they were out and about in Sarasota, because I was doing
Yeah.
a pub crawl video in Sarasota.
What did you think about Colin?
I had an electric suitcase. I mean, at the last time I saw him, he was riding it around, very level-headed when with a group of people, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, I sat and helped him at the kitchen table do homework when I stayed over there.
And so you never saw him push, but he definitely knew how to push her
Oh,
buttons.
no, I agree with you. I mean, I'm just saying it never happened in front of me, and I'm not hiding
Right.
anything. I'm not.
You're right.
I'm telling the truth. That's all anybody can ask to do. You know.
I don't think you're going to want to answer this, but do you know, you had said something about grandmother and grandfather the other day, but you don't want to really talk too much about that?
Nope.
Right. Okay.
We're just going to go with this, especially nope.
Okay. Okay. So we'll have to do our own digging on that.
Good luck.
So, yeah. What about, I guess, did she ever confide in you in anything about how her and Colin together, or what he was doing, or?
Yes, but not something I want to disclose in a public forum, if that makes sense,
Okay.
because it may mess up an Oklahoma case if it were to come back into play.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Don't use the S word, just use self-harm.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay, because you're not used to true crime. But I'm going to let you just kind of tell us the story. Tell us about it, because I know this is kind of what you do anyway.
I mean, the reality, the crazy, insane reality of all this is, like, I haven't processed it as real yet. You know what I mean? I detached myself 6 months before, 5-6 months before this happened. So I haven't even processed it as real. Now that now that it's real, it's starting to come.
You had said you loved her.
I did, and then I had to walk away because her son threatened her multiple times. I mean, there are pieces of evidence that have not been brought into this trial about threats with stabbing in the neck with a pencil and things like that.
A lot of things we know too that haven't been brought in. What is your opinion on how this judge handled everything?
I think they wanted a speedy trial and knew that if they got enough stuff gone away, there would be no chance of double jeopardy. It's done. The kid's free to go. I have to respect the court system. I hate it, but I have to respect the court system. Look, in the end of the day, I'm just getting the true crime phrasing right. His father raised him to what he did. His father is the one who taught him, and I think this is an acceptable word in true crime, he taught him how to double tap. And thus he double tapped daddy.
So what do you know about the father?
I'm not going to talk.
Like
legally, I'd rather not talk about it, just to not sully the Oklahoma case, if that makes sense. I'm happy to talk about anything from there. I do have a small amount of a law background.
Okay.
What's weird is I had never actually seen a picture of his father before, or I had never met Kathy's father. I call him Hulk Hogan. But I have spent some time with Kathy, her mom, and Colin on a boat before. Like, her mom rented like a little speedboat, and we went out for a day in a boat, and it was all fine. Joking around with the kid, joking around with Kathy, joking around with her mom. It was all fine.
Kathy had a lot of photos of her mother on Instagram where they were together doing stuff together. It seemed like they got along fairly well until Colin came in the picture.
Like I say, I maybe the crazy, as your audience sees it, maybe the crazy was just when I wasn't there.
Yeah.
I didn't. I mean, I'll give you some information that's relevant and not relevant at the same time, and this is it might add a color that you don't know. Kathy liked sexual domination, and that might do into some of the wantings of pain and things like that. It's not something. It's a piece of data that I don't think anybody really has.
Yeah.
And
But that still doesn't, I mean, I
I
know
know.
what you
I
mean.
agree with
It's
you.
not
I agree with you.
relevant, but yeah,
It
yeah.
is not relevant, but it is also the only time that her crazy would come out with me, if that makes sense.
You know what's sad about that is if the defense did know about it, the world would have known about it because she would have put it out there. Because what did she say the other day? Oh yeah, she did bring it up, and you were like, yeah, that doesn't surprise me. She brought up the whole self harm on, by son. Yeah.
And I called that 4 days before she did. You know,
Mm.
the original thing I said is what likely happened. And I mean, it comes down to self-harm by son. She wasn't able, she did. I want to be very clear. This is the crazy thing. In what was said by the defense, I cannot refute it based on information I have. I know that sounds crazy.
Well, and based upon information that the jury had, they made their decision. What do you think about? Do you think this might be reaching? Do you think it's the possibility that Kathy had a discussion with her mother before all this happened and she said, if he ever does anything to me, you've got to make sure that he doesn't go to jail for it.
Yes. Yes, I do.
Mm.
And do I also believe that the tape she said exist, and there are people that have access to it? Yes, I do.
Mm.
If that makes sense to you.
Yeah.
I do believe that. Again, that's a belief, not a fact. I want to be very clear.
You know what is scary about that is if the prosecutor knew that and he had to prosecute this case, that could have something to do with the way that he was in the case. I don't know if that's true or not, but God, this is the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life, Richard. I got to be honest with you.
I mean, it's the truth. And look, let me be honest with you. I mean, I guarantee you after this, I don't know. I can't see the stream right now. How many people are on the stream? Is it growing? I can't see anything.
There was 90. I think there's 86 in here now.
Okay. But someone's going to pick this up and probably reach out to me. I mean, someone media, because this is a huge story now.
Yeah.
A kid got away with killing both his parents.
Do you what do you know about the brother, the older brother? Anything you want to add
Kathy's
about
older
him?
Wait, Kathy's older brother?
No, Colin's older brother.
I have never met Colin's older brother.
Okay.
I know Kathy's older brother who, like I sent you a text that I'd rather not have shared, but that's the text that I got from her older brother that literally said the kid murdered her. And the family story changed after that. That text I sent you an email was from her older brother saying the kid murdered her. And unlike her dad, I was invited to the funeral.
Yeah.
Or whatever they want to call it.
But you didn't go.
So I had a trip planned. Would it cost too much logistically? And I'll be honest with you, I was not super close with her family.
Yeah.
Especially at that time. I had met her mom once. I had met her and Colin together probably 5 or 6 times. But I had met her a lot more. You know, we had gone on a couple trips and stuff before all of that.
Yeah.
But again, after Valentine's Day 2023, everything kind of fell off the rails, and I tried to, I tried to be the best I could. The joke was, and I'm going to tell you, a dark joke is we used to call, I'm her future ex-husband, and the kid, I'm his future ex-stepdad. The kid used to make that joke. I mean, I can show you, I don't know if I can get out of this, but there's a message I
I think we lost him.
Are we back?
Oh, you're going in and out a little bit. That's better. Okay.
Well, no. The problem is if I leave the app, I didn't open it properly. I literally just have an iPhone on me right now, and I'm out in the middle of the street. I apologize for that. But I have an email from Colin. Give me 10 seconds, and I'll be back. I'm going to read it to myself. And I'll paste it in the chat. Give me a second. You're going to lose me for 10 seconds. Just let me look it up.
That's fine. That's fine. For those of you just coming in, we are talking with Pants No Profit. No Pants Profits. He has a travel YouTube channel, and he dated Kathy before Colin moved in with her. And basically, Colin was the reason that they stopped seeing each other because Kathy's life had changed so drastically. They were already dating long distance, so it was hard for them to do things.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
So he sent me this text I just sent. You win enough to pay for my college ? Because I hit a nice jackpot on a cruise ship and I let Kathy know.
Yeah.
So he sent me a text unsolicited. The first text I ever had with the kid was, "Did you win enough to pay for my college?" And then he sent me a meme. The kid sent me a meme, and I can verify this because when they yelled out one of his phone numbers in court, which is no longer active, it's that number. I checked it. I was watching the trial the whole time.
So he has your number still. Possibly.
Me, when someone asks about your family, it's a Kermit the Frog meme. I'm happy to send it to you later. When someone asks about your family, should you tell them the Disney or Jerry Springer version? It's a meme.
Yeah, okay.
But that's what he sent me with Kermit in the background. You know, that's I'm just trying to say those are the only direct texts I've ever had with the kid.
What if he reaches out to you, Richard? He might reach out to you again.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. And then the last thing he ever said was, just email them my case file. When they asked about his family, he said, just email them my case file.
That's
Again,
horrible.
but that's what he texted to me, completely unprompted. These are backed up in iCloud. I'm happy to share them with anyone who wants them, you know. I'm not saying you, but I'm saying, you know.
Yeah, this is just unprecedented. I've never seen anything like this in my life where, first of all, he does it to his father. Then when he goes to court, it can't be said that it was his father who
I mean, I do 100% agree with you that the first juror that learns that fact,
it's going to be so upset.
It's going to be insane. Now,
I would feel so wronged by the court system if I were a juror and I was not told that. Now, with that being said, you got to take accountability as a juror that this kid already had done it one time, and you knew that. It didn't matter who it was, but he was involved in something before, even though he wasn't. So I guess they kind of said, well, he wasn't arrested for it, so we can't really count it. So maybe that's where they were trying to be impartial. They were trying to think, you know.
But I mean, the jury. I'm stupefied, and I pulled to the side of the road to go get some lunch and have this conversation with you. You know, when it comes down to it, I didn't even hear the whole thing, but it's a complete non-guilty across the board, correct? Not even manslaughter.
Right. No. Well,
the jury.
Yeah, because they said first degree.
You're free to go.
Yeah, they didn't even go into the whole, and then because of that, nothing came up with kidnapping. They jumped straight to the other. So I was like,
I mean, okay, I think Grandma has a few months, if you're asking me honestly.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people think. Yeah. I kind of wonder if he's even going to have anything to do with her, unless she's got money for him and she can do things for him. He's not going to really. I guess he'll depend on her for a while. But yeah, what happens when grandmother ends up in court or ends up in a grave and we have to bring him back to court again? Hope it's not in the state of Florida. Whew.
I mean, I'd be interested to see. I mean, I don't even know if legally he can. I'd be interested to see if Judge Grady, not Judge Grady, Sheriff Grady has anything to say on this.
Oh, I know. You know he's fired up. You know he is.
I mean, but essentially the jury found that she did fall on a knife.
Yeah, that's what they're saying, that actually happened. Like,
I mean, and one of the things, and please, I'd like to poll your audience because you have some crazy audience. I say it's crazy lovingly. Was the word pacemaker or Apple Watch said once in this case?
No, I didn't hear it. Did y'all? If y'all heard it, either pacemaker or Apple Watch, type that word, one of the words that you heard in the chat.
I mean, the pacemaker would prove that she was dead before 911 was called.
I think that he waited anywhere between 45 minutes to that 1 hour between when he called and when he pulled her back inside. After he had unalived her, he waited and made sure that she couldn't come back.
And what you've got to understand, I mean, the important thing about the Oklahoma one is I want you to understand, and this is Kathy telling me this directly, and me just understand where her husband lived is in Podunk, Oklahoma, where you have a sheriff and an assistant sheriff. You know, that's it. Do you really expect them to control a crime scene like in a real town?
Oh my God, I didn't even think about that. That makes me lose hope in Oklahoma and what could happen with that case.
That's what you
Now I
that
see what you're saying. Yeah.
understand. Oklahoma was the one that had a chance of getting dismissed because it was rural Oklahoma. Now, remember, from what I understand, this investigation was carried out by the county. The investigation of the Kathy's death was carried out by the county in which the death occurred in. In Oklahoma, they had to call the state police to investigate it because the county didn't have any forensics labs or anything like that. So if you want to talk about even less evidence in a case, that's the Oklahoma case, unfortunately.
That's scary. I wonder what the father's going to think or do now, if anything.
You mean Grandpa, Hulk Hogan, as I call him.
Yeah, Grandpa.
And I never met Grandpa. I mean, I agree with the defense that Kathy was estranged from Grandpa because I literally never met Grandpa.
But he stood up for her in the end, though, you know? He was her only
did.
voice.
He did. And like, I'll be honest with you, I was sitting on a cruise ship on Wednesday morning last week for opening arguments, and they were mentioning, you know, her brother and her sister and everything. Like, don't mention me. I mean, because I shouldn't have been mentioned because I wasn't around during the time of this case. But I'm like, don't mention me. You know. But it's insane. But again, as a true crime kind of thing, the judge, maybe he won't get reelected because of this. The jury.
We watch a lot of trials. We watch a lot of trials, and I'm going to tell you that we were also floored at the decisions the judge was making, how he was leaning with the prosecution so much. It was so obvious. People that don't know anything about trials could be watching this and go, "Is that right? Is that how they do it? What?"
I mean, it's absolutely absurd. And again, I'm pretty sure you can verify I'm who I say I am. I've been pretty clear that it's absolutely absurd to me. And you know, the weird thing is, you know, fortunately, all my driving for my current trip is done. But you know, it's a state of eventually it's going to hit me that it's real. I hate to say it. You know, you compartmentalize it in your brain. You know, I say this, you know, as strange as it sounds, this is going to sound evil and sociopathic and psychopathic. But when I decided to break it off with Kathy because she chose her son over me, she was already dead to me. Because I knew that was the outcome. And so did Tig Old Biddies, who she doesn't have internet connectivity right now because she's actually on a cruise right now.
Oh, okay.
But so, I mean, I was on a cruise with her last week when this happened, when the case started going. And I mean, I guess this was the effect of a speedy trial. I mean, do you know, were those two, I'm just wondering for myself, were those two defense attorneys public defenders? Or they were paid? They were too good to be public defenders, in my opinion.
I thought that too, but I went on the website and it said they came from the public defender's office. So I think it was appointed. I think that what happened was they got the case. They knew it was going to be high profile, so that there was two of them in the courtroom. That's just, I don't know if that's true, but I felt like that. But it did say that they were from the public defender's office, so they had to have been appointed. I thought maybe you knew more because you said you thought that grandmother paid for the attorney.
I was thinking. Remember, I am not close to the case now.
Yeah.
The last time I saw her was a few months before, and that was literally I was driving up through Sarasota, and I was like, "Hey, do you want to meet and have a drink somewhere?" And you know what's fun? We had a drink in some buckets at like a beach bar, and I still have the drink buckets in the back of my truck. That's how much I'm still not processing that this has happened, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry.
But I mean, in the end of the day, even though this is what I say, even though we hate the outcome, the justice system did what the justice system did. I hate it. Trust me. You're hearing it from the only guy that's willing to defend Kathy other than her dad.
So you think, let me, hang on, I'm trying to move our
I literally have 5 more minutes and I have to turn in a rental car. So I apologize for running off. I'm happy to come back later, but I have 5 more minutes and I have to I have to go head towards where I rented my rental car. I just pulled off to the side of the road.
Oh, no, you're fine. I just wanted to ask, and it sounds like you're probably going to tell me no on this, but I got to ask anyway. Anything you want to say about Kathy's siblings or anybody else that you met that you think and how they would feel about this? Or
I mean, a piece of data that I don't know whether I can substantiate or not, but I have no clue. This is a piece of data that I don't think your audience knows because it's not really brought up anywhere. Piece of data that your audience doesn't know is before Chuck, her husband, before he was with her, according to her, I don't want to be coming back on me saying slander or anything. According to her, he was with her sister.
oh yeah, when she was 13 years old. So when they were, and he was.
But I
How
don't
old
think
was
that's
he?
I don't think that's a piece of data that's ever been shared. Is
But
that
how old was he? He was
I
like
don't
10 years older, I think, than
yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I'm saying she was with her sister, and this pains me to say, Kathy's sloppy seconds. Kathy was Chuck's sloppy seconds in the same family. I
yeah.
don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I'm just saying, like, that's the
Okay,
slang
well,
way to say it.
what do you know about this trust fund? Is there any information that you have about the trust fund that they kept mentioning?
Oklahoma related, not something I'll comment on,
Okay,
unfortunately. It's just,
okay.
I don't want to mess up the possibility of the kid going away in Oklahoma. You know where I'm coming
No,
from?
yeah, I get you. I get you. I
So
just
I don't
wonder.
want to speak on anything on Daddy or Oklahoma or anything like that because someone could take a clip out of this, and I'm just talking about what I know about Kathy and what I've seen in the case, plus what Kathy has told me. Again, I have never seen any physical altercation whatsoever in the family. I have seen Kathy, her mom, her son, on a boat all together. I brought nice chests full of beer and liquor, and we had a good time on the boat. You know, as
Yeah.
weird as it sounds, the where things have been positive. Now, have there been things that have been said in jest by the kid when before this happened that, as weird as it sounds, similar to Robert Walentis, her dad, you know, I did contact OBI as soon as Sheriff
Oklahoma.
Grady's press conference, Oklahoma Bureau of Investigation. I had to jump around 6 or 7 times because Florida didn't want to talk to me. Then I finally found I'm going to just say Podunk, Oklahoma Police Department, found their information, and they referred me to OBI. I called OBI, gave them the information I had, which was just something I was told in a hot tub right under a Ring camera, which is kind of interesting, isn't it? Uh,
Yeah.
it's something I was told in a hot tub under a Ring camera, but do you take a 16-year-old's words at face value?
Well, no, because he said the same. He said, "Can you? I mean, do you believe some of the things that he had the defense say about his own mother in this trial?"
Uh, Give me examples, and I'm happy to give you
Oh
ideas.
my
I said,
gosh, there were so many things. You, she wasn't. In my opinion, I don't think
look,
she was
she was able to
unhinged as they
wake up.
made her.
She was able to wake up for work every day, show up to work, have a whole course load of students. I sound like the prosecution right now, but when he said that, that was the most relevant thing. She had multiple classes of students. She would manage, and look, she'd go on trips. Look, she's dead. I can say this now. She'd go on trips in the state of Florida and work remotely because she was allowed to. She was working for a virtual school as long as she stayed in the state of Florida. But she would keep up with her work. She would have those responsibilities. She wasn't fired from her job. She always got the highest marks, as a teacher from her job and stuff like that. So if she was truly unstable, would that be possible?
Right, right, exactly. That's
Now,
that's kind of
maybe there are unstabling events. What I mean by unstabling events is, look, mother and kids fight.
I
But
think that I
but I
think that
mean,
he knew how to push her buttons. I think that he learned how to push her buttons through his dad's actions in the past.
well, Dad taught him how to push buttons.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I will give you one piece of information on Oklahoma that I was told. Again, told this by Kathy. Colin didn't have a bed in Oklahoma. He slept on a mat on the floor.
So he claimed that his dad did never let him use the house and he only fed him once a day.
I believe that to be true.
Really? But
Yeah,
that's all coming from Colin. That's not coming from anybody but Colin.
but it came from Kathy as well.
But Kathy got it from Colin.
Could have gotten it from Colin. That is a fact of life.
Yeah.
That is a fact of life.
Yeah, this is sad. Well, listen, I want to thank you for coming on. Is there anything you want to close with?
I mean, I want to close with, in the end of the day, look, I wasn't around when this happened, and I have to respect the jury's decision. And I implore you to look into five-sided shapes. But I can't say much more than that.
Okay.
I implore you to look into five-side shapes. I will be around in your discussions and stuff like that when I can, but I literally have to turn in a rental car right now. So I've got to get over to the rental car agency and turn in that rental car.
Okay, well, just touch back with me if you ever want to come back on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay, safe in your
I'm gonna
travels.
read. I'm gonna read all the news story. I'm gonna listen to your coverage while I'm turning in the rental car. But I'm gonna jump off now, and I'll be in the chat.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
right.
bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, so let me look at the comments here, you guys. Yeah, I kind of feel like him. I'm like, okay, now I'm scared to even say a whole lot about Oklahoma, because if it ever does go to trial, we don't want it to screw up. That's this. I've never mind.